guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'll be showing you how to change your guitar strings, and doing so allows your guitar to be sounding as great as it was the day you first got it. Now you usually want to change your guitar strings every 3 to 6 months depending on how much you play it, and this is just to make sure that your guitar is conditioned as well as the strings are not dull sounding and your fingers are able to slide up and down with ease. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Before attempting to change strings, you want to make sure you have all the materials at hand. So first off, you of course will need your brand new strings. Here I'm using the D'Addario's Extra Light. Most people will just go with the light strings because their guitars are probably full-sized, but mine's is a parlor size, so it's slightly smaller, but the string brand doesn't really matter as long as you like how it will sound like. Next, you'll need to cut the strings with some pliers. And here I have a Pro Winder 3-in-1 tool, so it's not only a plier but also a guitar tuning peg unwinder, and this little nudge here allows you to remove the bridge pins more easily. Link will also be in the description to find these materials. Next, you want to have a little neck cushion for your guitar so that your guitar will be level when you try to change the strings. Here is just a little cushion that was part of my guitar case that I'm going to use to help prop up my guitar. Now these next items are optional, but since that you're removing your strings anyways, I would recommend you picking these up. This is a guitar polish so that you can clean your guitar body, any part that's glossy. And this is the Ernie Ball guitar polish. I also made an unboxing video of that, so if you want to check that out, feel free. And since this is only for the body of the guitar, like the body and of course the neck, you'll want to have the Dunlop lemon oil, or just lemon oil in general. This is used to condition the fretboard as well as the saddle of your guitar. And I usually use 2 sets of cloths. This one is a microfiber cloth that originally was used to clean my glasses, and this one I use for cleaning the fretboard. And this is a cloth that came with the Ernie Ball guitar polish, so I use it with, of course, polishing up the body of the guitar. Now that you have all the materials, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is, of course, remove the old strings. So you start out by removing and unwinding the string from the tuning peg. So I have the Planet Waves Pro Winder right here, and if you do pick this up, you want to make sure that the screw here is slightly loose so it's a little bit easier to unwind the tuning pegs. But if you don't have this tool, it's okay, you can just do it by hand. While you're doing so, if you don't remember which way you should turn it, just feel the strings and make sure it's getting loose, and once it's loose enough, just take it out of the tuning peg. Now that I've removed the strings from the upper level, I'm going ahead and remove the bridge pin so I can remove the strings completely. Now some people may want to cut the strings here over the sound hole just to reduce the tension a little bit more in case they're worried about when they remove the bridge pin that the strings will fly in their face. But most likely that's not the case, especially if you already removed the strings from the tuning pegs. So I'm going to remove the bridge pins by using my Pro Winder tool. And once again, if you don't have this tool, just find some kind of leverage device that you can use to remove the pins. And depending on what kind of pins you have, you may have a slightly difficult time removing them the first time, but it's okay. Just be very gentle and be careful. You don't want these pins to fly out and lose them. Now that I've removed all 6 bridge pins, I'm going to go ahead and carefully remove each individual string. You just carefully remove them from the holes each, and some of them may be a little tricky, they might get a little stuck, but it's okay. Just give it a quick little nudge and they should come straight out. As you can see, my strings are quite dull. They're pretty much charcoal black and they're supposed to be metallic silver. So it's a good time, if your strings look just like this, it's definitely a good time for you to change your strings. Now with all the strings removed, I can access the fingerboard. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean it off a little bit, wiping it down a little bit with my glasses microfiber cloth, and this is just to remove all the dirt and grime and oil that has built up over the time that I've used it. So you want to make sure you do this first before applying the lemon oil. And then now is when you can add the lemon oil. So it says on the instructions that you have to shake it up a little bit. This is just to make sure that the lemon oil can seep through the little cotton swab on the top, so you can actually apply this thing to your fretboard. Just shake it up a little bit and then you'll be good to go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and apply the lemon oil to my rosewood fretboard. Now this is not compatible with every fretboard, so make sure you check which kind of fretboard you have on your guitar before doing this. What I'm doing right now is gently applying the lemon oil per fret in a vertical fashion. I do that for every fret, and now I'm taking my microfiber cloth and just rubbing it into the wood. This really helps preserve the wood and makes it look very nice. Now I'm going to do the same thing to my rosewood saddle. So since it's also unfinished wood, I can use the lemon oil as well. So again, dab it a little bit and then take my microfiber cloth and just rub it in. And to finish up my guitar cleaning, I'm just going to go ahead and start polishing up the parts of my guitar that are finished. So the glossy areas, which include the headstock, the neck, as well as the rest of the body. And I'm using my neck cushion here to help me out stabilize the guitar. I'm using the Ernie Ball guitar polish, which I'm going to go ahead and spray it into my cloth here, and with that cloth carefully polish the headstock, the neck, as well as the body of the guitar. Now that my guitar is squeaky clean, it's time to restring the guitar. Here I have my new pack of strings, and on the back it should say which string is which and it's color coded, and in case that is not the case, you can of course also tell by the string thickness. And remember, the order of the strings is Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. So make sure you put the strings back in the correct place. Now when you want to put the strings in, you have to make sure that the string goes in deep enough that you are able to put in the bridge pin as well. So you want to slide the string in where there's an indentation with the bridge pins, and then push in the bridge pins while simultaneously pulling up on the string vertically. And you should hear a little click and it will lock into place. Give it a little tug and make sure that it's solid. Otherwise, when you try to restring it, the bridge pins will fly off, and you definitely do not want that happening. So I just do the same procedure for each string. You want to insert the string where the bridge pin has a little indentation. Pull up while pressing down the bridge pin simultaneously. Hear a solid click, and you know it's in the right place. Okay, now all my strings are hooked onto the saddle. I'm ready to restring all the strings. So I'm starting out with my low E string here, and you just want to put it in the slot and then pull it up so that it's sort of tense and it's up to the next tuning peg. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take my clipper and clip it right there. Next, insert the string into the tuning peg hole, and then just turn the peg that it will make it tighten the correct way, which is going to be turning it away from the body of the guitar. Do the same procedure for the next 3 strings, the A, the D, and the G string. And then of course, again, stretch it out so that it's slightly tense in the slot. Add 1 tuning peg away, clip it, insert it into the slot, and then turn it away from the guitar. It doesn't have to be in tune right now, just tense enough so that the strings stay in place. For the D and G strings, just imagine that there's another tuning peg, and then just clip it there and do the same procedure as the last 2. Once we're done with the bottom 4 strings, we can move on to the top 2 steel strings. Now these are thinner, so they need to be wound up more. So pull these up so that it's tense and it stretches out for about 1.5 tuning pegs past the tuning peg you're trying to tune. Clip it, and then once again insert it into the tuning peg hole, and then you want to tighten it by tightening it towards the body of the guitar. Same thing goes for the high E string. Clip it past 1.5 tuning pegs, insert it into the slot, and then wind it so that it is towards the body of the guitar. Alright, so finally I have gotten all my strings in, and now what's left to do is tune it and stretch the strings. So while you were tightening up your strings, you might have seen the bridge pins risen up a little bit, and if that was the case, you just needed to just press it down a little bit. Worst case was that you didn't notice it and it just flew right out. So take a moment right now to make sure all of them are securely in the saddle. Okay, so now that they're all secure, I'm going to go ahead and tune it. Now, in the beginning, since these are new strings, they're still pretty tight. They're going to go out of tune pretty easily. So after tuning, I would suggest you do a little bit of a stretching exercise for these strings. And I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, now my guitar is preliminarily tuned. It's not going to stay in tune for a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the stretching exercise I use. So basically, I just take my two thumbs and gripping the strings with my other, I carefully kind of stretch it out as I go along the fingerboard. My right hand will push down on the string, and my left hand will pull up on the string just slightly. Don't do it too much, of course you don't want your strings breaking at this point, but just enough pressure so that it will just stretch out just a little bit. This way it will help keep the guitar in tune a little bit easier. The breaking period is usually about a week depending on the type of the guitar you have, and honestly it's worth it. Once you are finished with the breaking period, your guitar will sound very nice. Well, that would do it for me. Thank you for watching and enjoy playing your newly strung guitar.